Time to fuel your business success. Welcome to Harmonious at Lunch. We're bringing you bite-sized advice and expert conversations to drive clarity and growth 5 days a week. Make sure you join our Facebook group at humanopt.com/lunch, where listeners like you and our guests hang out so we can find harmony in business together. If you're building a business, you're in the right place. Let's dive in.
Welcome back into some more Harmonious at Lunch. Today, we're talking about journaling. That's right. 4 smart journaling secrets that multiply your productivity. Who doesn't want to multiply their productivity? I wish I had more of me, but I can't get there. So we're going to tune in today and listen. Maybe I can get a little bit more productive at the very least. And then I'll work on cloning next week. But Michael Klassen, welcome to the show. And thank you so much for being here.
Brendan, thanks for having me. It's great to join you.
Let's start out with this. Do you have the answer to cloning, or am I not there yet?
No, you're not there yet.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a little disappointed. Maybe one of these days we'll have a guest on who does have the answer, but until then, we want to get way more productive. You're a busy guy. You got a lot going on, and you found a secret to get more productive, but it's through journaling. That's interesting. That's not what I thought you would have said. So tell me, where do we start with this 4 secrets to journaling?
Well, before that, I just realized something popped in my head. As far as the cloning goes, I am actually propagating some of my grapevine out in the garden. So that's kind of close, but I'm still going to let you down.
Sorry. Tell me about that though, because don't you have to like cut off one vine and then put it somewhere else? So do I cut off my arm, and is that how I start?
Yeah, stick it in some dirt. You need a little bit of propagating compound on there, and that show Bad Monkey, maybe that's what they should have done with that guy's arm, is clone him.
Maybe. Hey, this is YouTube. This is not medical advice. I'm not advising listeners to cut off their arms.
Yeah, please don't.
I don't need to be canceled today.
Don't do it. Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time I caused something bad. But yeah, so getting back to the actual question of journaling, I needed, and obviously my parents and teachers saw when I was younger that I needed to focus and not be bouncing around like a ping pong ball in the classroom.
I think we all just saw that too with your propagating.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's right. Yep, totally. I'll try and keep my hook out of the weeds. But so I was taught by a caring teacher to start setting goals of what I was going to accomplish in the day and the week, and learning about the importance for me, especially, to write it down. And there is science about that too, where you're, multiple times more greater chances of accomplishing not just your goals, but your daily tasks. If you have to-do lists and goals, and those goal sheets and those journal pages of to-do lists, they work hand in hand to, at least if nothing else, keep me focused on my tasks. And you get that endorphin rush when you can cross through the line or put a check on it.
Yeah, I like this. I mean, it makes sense. And I've heard from both sides, right? So there's the people who, if you bind them to a list, they're just going to lose their minds because they want the flexibility and the creativity. And then there's the other people who, my wife is one of these, if they can't check something off the list, it's just not fulfilling. So she'll even write things after the fact that she's completed, just to go and check it off. So we have both extremes, right? But I think what you're talking about here is a valuable strategy. And if nothing else, hear it, listen to it, try it, and see if it works for you. Because we also know that not everything works for every single person. But what's the SMART journaling secret? SMART is capitalized in.
Oh, yes.
Is it an acronym?
It is. And I'm working right now. It's about 30 pages. It'll be 100 when it's done. And we had a SMART goal worksheet on our 5am podcast website, and it was the #1 free download that we had for years running. And we thought, we need to make that a little bit more in depth. So we've got the specific, manageable, I'm going to mess up, articulate. We need them to be time bound as well. So the SMART, actually, it was an electrician that came up with SMART goals, SMART goals. Yeah. And so with having that, for me, I was thinking, okay, so I'm actually guiding myself along this path, making sure that my plans aren't too grandiose, but that they're in bite-sized chunks, kind of like eating an elephant one bite at a time. And certainly could overwhelm myself with my ideas of trying to take over the world, like Pinky in the Brain. But I needed to start with a small town before I could take over the whole country and then get to the world. But there's a lot of people ahead of me on that one.
A little bit, but that's okay. I don't know that we want to necessarily take over the world. And you are Pinky in the Brain. Shout out to all the 90s kids. That was one of my favorite cartoons growing up. So
Oh man.
I love
Yes.
it. I love the reference. Okay, so the SMART goals, I think everybody's familiar with that acronym. I
Mhm.
wasn't sure if it was the same thing or different. How have you modified that to journaling then? I'm curious. Do you journal in a
Oh
certain
yeah.
sequence, or what does that look like?
No, so then well, for the journaling, uh, I needed to stay engaged with my because I could have lists over here and over there, and then I forget where I put my lists because it's in the drawer and it's not where I was expecting. So I needed to have things all in the same place. And so as we go through with our journal, that means we could put our planners in there, like our weekly or daily planners, or put some Sudoku games in there just so that we can stay engaged with it, but that it's actually become something that we carry around with us in a sense, so that while we might be needing some downtime, so we could color in a page of something, and just so that we're still focused on it, but it ebbs and flows with us uh through each day and through how our mindset, my wife was asking me to help my mom with something, and I was like, sorry, I am not in the headspace to do that. 8 hours later, yes, I can get that done for you, or 5 hours. So it's nice to have the journaling and the goals and the to-do list kind of in a decorative box. Makes it a little more palatable.
It's the trinity of productivity, if you
Yeah.
will.
Oh, that's good. I like that. I like
You
that.
can have that. That's my gift to you.
I will take it. Yeah.
Just give a
Trinity
shout
of
out to
productivity.
Harmonious at lunch. That's where it came
Yes, that's good.
from. I like it. Okay, so talk to me then, because I think as entrepreneurs, as business owners,
Mhm.
especially of larger businesses where we have people bombarding us with things, and we're trying to grow, scale, keep everything in order. It's hard to manage all that and feel productive. I know
Mm.
a lot of our clients come to us with that exact problem, that I am doing so much. If you were to put it on a checklist, like, they would have the biggest checklist every single day, but there's absolutely no award for biggest checklists, especially in business. But
Mhm.
they say they feel like they're not getting anywhere. They're not doing any productive work. So
Yeah.
how does the trinity of productivity help us move towards our goals consistently, and filter out the wheel spinning versus
Mhm.
the actual meaningful work?
Yes. Well, have you read the book E-Myth Revisited?
Several times, yeah.
Oh,
The
yes.
book that changed my outlook on business for
Mhm.
sure.
I needed that book a lot
Mm,
because I thought I could do everything, or if the team wasn't doing things right, then oh man, I'm just gonna have to work late and get that done. And so I felt like I was spinning my wheels or leading the team through like hip waist mud, and just
mm,
trying to pull everybody to our destination. And then I was listening to, boy, I think it's in Think and Grow Rich, where Napoleon Hill talks about Henry Ford. And Henry Ford had that electronic switch where he had everyone's names on his desk, where he could just flip the switch and have this guy come and talk to him. So uh with the for me personally, with the goals and the to-do lists, it's ensuring that I'm tasking other people correctly so that I can actually do what I want to do. And if there's stuff that I don't want to do, kind of like what I had heard about Henry Ford, he would just unload that or delegate those tasks. And I got to say that learning to delegate is an art, but it's so valuable.
absolutely. Um, and it's one of those things where if you do it wrong, that's when you get in this,
Mhm.
feels like you're dragging your employees through the mud, right? Or your
Yep.
team members.
Yep.
How do you help people understand? I'm just gonna keep calling it the Trinity. It's a thing
Yes.
now. How do
Trinity
you
of
help the
productivity.
people you delegate to understand the Trinity, so that you're giving them information in a way that they can hear it, making requests of them? And now let's talk about the E-Myth too, because you're delegating and empowering them to do that
Mhm.
task to completion and have the autonomy to judge whether it's good or bad, and then give it back to you in a format that you need it, so that
Mhm.
you're not pulling anybody. You're just all moving forward at the same pace, and it's a collaborative experience.
Yes. I learned not to, as much as I could help it, give tasks to people who hated the task. And so when we would have our weekly meetings and going through, one place that I worked at, we'd have our weekly meetings at 12:30 my time, which worked because people were in different time zones. And we would go through. I tried to foster an environment where we were our brother or sister's keeper, and I always did this checklist of, do you like the task? Do you hate? Is it drudgery? And we got into the 80-20 rule of getting rid of the drudgery stuff first. But I would actually find out from my team if there was somebody that really liked what the person currently doing hated. And then I learned to not give, let's say, Sarah something that she hated when I knew that Andy liked it. And so I would get them to swap production responsibilities in certain areas, and that actually seemed to put a lot of wind in people's sails, knowing that Michael was going to take something off their plate that they hated, and give somebody something that they liked, and really care about making sure that they're set up to succeed, and that I'm not waiting for them to fail so we can all point and laugh at our next team meeting.
That's no fun. Nobody likes those meetings.
No, nobody at all.
I'm
Yeah.
curious how did you make that phrase actually into a positive thing? Because at least for me, growing up, I have a younger brother, and
Uh-huh.
I've heard numbers of times, "Don't be your brother's keeper,"
Mm.
which is usually used in a very negative
Yes.
connotation. So how did you spin that positive?
So that's partly from my upbringing of that. So I grew up on a farm, and there's a verse in the Bible that says that a wise man pays attention to the condition of his flocks.
Mhm.
So if our animals are unhealthy, unfed, man, we are not prospering when it comes time to sell them. So I learned that just through work, but also through my upbringing, that I really had to put a focus on what my flocks are doing, what my staff is doing. Are they prospering? Are they hating every minute of it? And so then I was able to build this understanding and idea that we're working together as a team. And if I miss something, then I let the other four people down. If Sarah misses something, that impacts everybody else. So in order to not be impacted by Sarah's mistake, that means that Andy and myself and the other people on the team have to ensure that Sarah succeeds where she normally fails. And then we help Andy succeed where he normally fails. But if we have terrible communication, we all just think that Andy sucks, and he doesn't. He's just having a hard time because we've given him stuff that he does not succeed at and hasn't been known to succeed at. So it's not actually Andy's fault that he sucks at it. It's that we gave him something knowing that he was not going to execute at the level of expectation that we had.
Yeah, you set them up for failure, which is
Yes.
nobody wants that.
No.
So now we have one Trinity going to the far more important Trinity, and I'm curious about another verse
Okay.
that you're also, it seems like you're hinting at, and I want to see if this is actual
Okay.
practice in your business. It's in Proverbs. It's escaping my mind, but essentially, wise is a man who survives or who surrounds himself with many
Mhm.
counselors. You
Yes.
have surrounded yourself with people. You also pour into them,
Yes.
um, so that you can all win together. How
Mhm.
much does that play into your success in business, in personal life too, and the
Absolutely.
growth of your company, your team, and your mission?
Yes. Well, and there is one chapter in Proverbs for every day of the month, and it's a great way to start your day.
There's
Is
something to that. Maybe we should
Yes.
look into it.
Yeah. So there's a verse in there that says, "He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed."
Yeah.
So I knew that if I would refresh my team, they would refresh me. So and then if I have that idea where I'm refreshing all of them, hopefully then they get that same tool to use to refresh their teammates, and then their teammates would refresh them, the other person as well. So yeah, in a multitude of counselors, there absolutely is victory. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this. I say for the next 31 days, we should commit to reading a chapter a day. If you're
Yes.
listening to this, if you've never read the Bible, I invite you to. But that for me, I've read it a number of times, and
Hmm.
there's always something new that comes out
Always.
of that book.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So today, for example, would be Proverbs 23. And boy, oh boy, that book covers every component of life. And it's so valuable for succeeding at work and succeeding in personal relationships.
Absolutely. Yeah. So start whenever you're hearing this. Actually, when you're hearing this, it would be, let's see, about, oh, look, it's the same book. Imagine that. So if you're hearing this on the
Yeah.
day it comes out, you're also in Proverbs 23. So go check
Yeah.
that out. Michael,
Yeah.
this has been a phenomenal episode, and I really
Loved it.
appreciate this. I hope people actually take this
Mhm.
and do the things that you talked about. Make the list,
Yes.
surround yourselves with others, read Proverbs every day of the month. At
Yes.
least do that one. That's probably
Yes.
the most important. No offense, but
Mhm.
um, this is great. Where can the listeners go learn more about you? I know you have a podcast as well.
Mhm.
Where's the best place for them to hear more of your wisdom?
So you can go to 5ampodcast.com. It's got all the information there. We're on the usual suspects for the social media platforms, but 5am podcast, it'll really it'll whet your appetite and satisfy it as well.
I love it. The only catch is you have to listen to it at 5 a.m. So wake up
Ye-
early, folks.
Yes, do it.
Do it. He's
Do it.
encouraging this
Yeah.
awful advice. Don't feed into my terrible advice, Michael.
Yeah.
You are better than me. Don't be like that.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being here, though. This was a great episode.
Oh yeah, I loved it. Thanks.
For those of you watching, listening, all the links, the link to the podcast and the social media is down below in the show notes. Go check that stuff out. Take action on today's episode. Why are you listening if you're not going to put it into place? So go do something, whatever you learned, put it into practice. And we'll see you on tomorrow's episode of Harmonious at Lunch.
Another episode of Harmonious at Lunch in the books. I hope this episode made you think and you grabbed some actionable ideas to propel your business. Don't forget to like, comment your takeaways, and subscribe wherever you're listening so we can help more entrepreneurs just like you achieve harmony in their life and business. For cutting-edge tools that bring clarity to your people and processes, check out humanoff.com to download our app today. See you next time.